Hey there, YouTube fans. How you going, man? So I went to a dietitian a few days ago, and one of the best dietitians I've ever seen. Shout out to Achama if you're seeing this video by some miracle. But yeah, she listened to me, and I was honest with about what I was eating and my diet and things like that, including the chocolate and whatever have you that I was having. And we come up with a little bit of a plan as to how to eat if you're having dumping syndrome or problems with blood sugar issues. She came up with a few ideas which I agree with, and my research has come up with that too. So she said to have mixed meals with low GI starches. So a mixed meal is something that has fats, protein, and carbohydrates, and half a cup of starch with each meal, so that you have your carbs there, and 100 grams of protein. Now I measured one of the steaks that I had. I kind of separate my steaks, and it was about 130 grams. So I'm not too far off. I disagreed with her on how small that portion size is, because I said it should be the size of my hand. Mine, as I said, mine are around 150 grams for a steak or something like that. Olive oil is okay, she said. It slows down digestion. You should have a cup of vegetables. You must, non-starchy vegetables, and eat every 2 to 3 hours. That's to keep the blood sugar stable rather than these spikes and crashes. So I was having, it's appeared to have a protein. If I had a protein meal, just protein and no carbs, it would seem to crash my blood sugar. Although the Libre Sensor 2 wasn't really giving me very accurate results, accurate readings, to be honest. So when it was crashing, I would test it with a finger prick test, and it was right out by a couple of millimoles. So the jury's still out on what's going on. But when I had the blood sugar glucose test, oral glucose tolerance test, and I came home, I absolutely had low blood sugar at 3.8 in the Australian standard or British standard. So there is something going on, and there was irregularities on my blood sugars, and I did another video on that. So just go back a few videos. So this eating every 2 to 3 hours with a gastric sleeve, with mixed meals and complex carbohydrates, and with the low GI carbohydrates, protein and fat, is a good idea, I would have thought, but I'm not your doctor. Check everything with your doctor. And she said, she said to start taking my vitamins again, because I've had gastric sleeve. And I had to agree with her. The reason why I had stopped is some of them have got sulfites in them, and I'm allergic to sulfites. But I found one that doesn't seem to have sulfites in it. I seem to be taking it 1 tablet twice a day, and it seems to be fine. I'm not waking up with horrid sinus or anything, so I'm taking multivitamins and minerals. That's it. Now, on the subject of multivitamins and minerals, she gave me a little flow chart, and I think this is a good point, is that, the packet or the bottle vitamins and minerals, they're not always in the right combination to be absorbed properly by the body. And this is quite complicated, and I don't really want to go into it, but for example, magnesium works with potassium, so you need to eat those things together. But then if you have this in real food, that's a better way, rather than just taking vitamins. I think that vitamins, maybe they're like a little bit of a supplement. That's the word I want. Rather than like the be all and end all. So you should have like real food, is my point that I'm trying to get out. Now, I did have a problem with not getting enough protein in my diet, so I was even more hungrier all the time. So I've started to substitute my diet with whey protein isolate and I'm doing like 60 grams of protein in the morning, and then and then concentrating on having protein with carbs throughout every other meal that I have. Normally I try to do that. So, and they've done blood tests on me, and I'm not lacking any vitamins or minerals. So those are the main things. Eat every couple of hours. Of course, you always watch your high GI carbohydrates like sugar, white bread. Interestingly enough, we talked about pasta. I said the way us Italians cook it is al dente, so we don't overcook it. It's still a little bit bitey, al dente to the teeth is what al dente means. And I said I normally have bolognese sauce with it, and she said that's really, really good. You've got your proteins, carbs, and fats, and I've noticed that my blood sugars are like this, stable all day with spaghetti bolognese cooked to al dente. So she gave her blessing on that, and that's fine because I love to eat like that. I'll leave it there, but those are the points that the dietitian came up with when you've got gastric sleeve and you seem to have dumping syndrome, which I seem to have, and we're going to test that thoroughly on this Friday coming. Hopefully I'll do a video on that, but in the meantime I'm going to try and eat like that. One thing also, there was some kind of dumping syndrome that happened last night. I was like, I'm craving sugar, and I had a diet drink by accident, which probably was the reason why I craved sugar, right? So I had half a packet of ginger nut biscuits, and when I had that, I wanted more food. So I could have just had dumping syndrome because I started having a cereal, we call it Nutrigrain and milk today, at night, sorry, and at the same time, straight after, and I was like, I felt really bad in the stomach. I thought I was going to throw up, and it was really like bloated and everything going on, and I was like, and I felt ravenous, and it's like, that is dumping syndrome. That's how dumping syndrome can present. What's the moral of the story? Try not to have half a packet of biscuits, right? I think they are right that dumping syndrome is what's causing some of my hunger, like rabid hunger, when I'm eating something, especially something with a lot of sugar. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope that helped you. Always check with your doctor. Hope this was informational that was useful to you. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Teacher Sal out. God bless.